All right, week 16 in the book, 17.5 or 17.5 miles. Wow, off to a great start. 28.2 kilometers was an active recovery week. And we came in a little bit below even plan. So we were scheduled obviously for recovery week with 3 runs. So how did we get here? Well, the previous week or block, I guess in general, we had some pretty good increase on the overall mileage. Kind of hitting a capstone with the 40K into the almost 20K Sunday, with the 40K being on the trails. My cats are going nuts. Beautiful. And yeah, heading into the recovery week, felt quite a bit of tension through the calves, Achilles, ankles. And by the time we kind of got to the Tuesday starter run for the week, the 5 miler, we had planned, or actually it was 6 miles. Just didn't feel like it made sense to get out there and do it, and opted to do a lot more stretching and recovery work on the ankles, with the purpose of the recovery week really centered around trying to get things back in order. Over mileage, you still want to keep running, but not at the expense of it's going to deteriorate kind of your remaining working weeks that you have left. And even kind of reviewing the 28-week plan, the amount of actual running weeks remaining is starting to actually get pretty small. We're getting close, and it's almost game time. So yeah, by the time I got through the week, the 20K recovery on the Saturday, it was almost 30 degrees out. It was a hot one. It was nice to get some exposure to the heat. Ran out of water actually. Was drinking it at a exorbitant rate. Gotta really be cognizant and on top of it, which is a good preface into this week. Forecast for the week is every day is going to be between 28 to kind of 32 degrees. It's already getting pretty humid out here in Ontario, so this is going to be it's going to be a hot one, and of course it is heading into race week, which is crazy. So, like I mentioned last week, we're heading into the 50K, the Great Mansfield, they call it. And up until really this morning, early this morning, there wasn't details up on the race. So, I'm going to actually walk through it in real time because I haven't had a look. I just saw the website was finally updated. And let's kind of see what we're walking through. We'll give you some of my thoughts as we go through it. Interesting note is the 50K event actually sold out. There were a lot of spots remaining, and then suddenly, I guess over the last few days, I hadn't really checked. They had like a surge, and it's going to be a full capacity, whatever that actually means. It's not entirely clear. I wasn't sure if it was just going to be like a couple people who showed up for this 50K because it's not like the biggest race ever. That was really the first time they're running a 50K in the first place. But hey, let's jump in. Previously, they just had like a few sections of the basic point here. So we got a location, arrival information. So start time for the race 7:30. The race kit pickup, you can do it at 6 a.m. I'm actually going to go down the day before because they do an early pickup on the Friday. Because I want to make sure I have a good sense of where this place is at, get the stuff and the gear ahead of time. I have done like a same day race kit pickup. I don't know. You got enough on your mind, so yeah, parking. Yeah, this is the point about the race kit or race pickup. Okay, so here's the first interesting spot. So aid station 1 of 5 will be the official drop area for racer bags in the 50K only. Make sure it's ID'd. Uh, and it'll be ready for you on your second lap. So that's going to be key. So it's going to be just like one pickup. I guess it's 2 laps of 25K. We'll see what the course looks like in a moment. Hopefully they have the actual details out there with a map, but who knows? That's kind of expected. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit. In terms of like preliminary, what am I bringing for fuel? I've got a brand new bag of Tailwind over there on the desk. I'm gonna probably break it up into little kind of 300 calorie pouches and have some of them like with me at the bag so I can mix the water as I'm going through, because I don't expect a lot at these aid stations besides maybe a big jug of water. And then I'm going to use the Cliff Bar chews. I found they are a uh, good boost that you can actually get down. I've used kind of regular Cliff and protein bars in the past, and I find these things become like chalk when you're like 2 3 hours in. It's just hard to get them down, especially when it's hot. They're kind of melting. The Cliff Bar chews, it's almost like candy. Well, pretty much is. A lot of this stuff's just really sugar and a little bit of electrolytes. I think they have 50 milligrams of caffeine kind of thrown in there. Um, but I've been using them on the training runs, and same with the tailwind, obviously, for months at this point. So I know my stomach can take it, which is always critical when you're about to go into one of these endeavors. You do not want to roll the dice on some shit you haven't put in your body before. It's not going to be cool. So what do we got? So race briefing at 7:15, and obviously I think they said the start at 7:30, so that's pretty typical. At Sinister 7 last year, the race briefing was actually at the day before. It was like 45 minutes. This is a less extreme endeavor, obviously. Let's see. What do we have? Any course descriptions? Okay, so 8 stations are self-serve and full serve. Okay. Follow the flags. This is always a key one with trail races, is you want to be really sure you know which flags you're following or what the marking situation is, especially if it's a race that's run multiple times over, because there will be occasions where previous year flags are actually still hanging in the trees and on the trail that may not have got removed. But yeah, let's see. Will vary in mileage. We've used both bike wheel sensors and foot pod to track distance this year and calibrated via straight flat road. We've extended the distances slightly based on best course fit and closest to match what we hope will show up as the widest variety of devices on race day, but can't guarantee perfect course distance. That's road running. That makes sense, especially for like a smaller race. It can be pretty challenging between the elevation and the curvature. Obviously, if you take a turn and you're on the outside versus the inside over 50K, you can actually get quite a bit of variance too. And when you get into like switchbacks and like sharper turns, it can be a pretty tough ordeal to actually get an accurate map. Are full of roots. What's this mean? And unless we get rain before race day, we'll be more loose than normal. Exercise caution. Strongly recommend trail shoes for grip. Well, I hope so, guys. So let's just hop down. 50K course. Any actual info? All the stuff we just said above. But at the bottom, we're going to welcome you across the start and finish line. Yes, please cross. We're marking the splits. And then we'll send you right back in for lap 2. Okay. Okay, so we got some descriptions, so maybe we'll take a look at the 25K. Oh wow, it's just like the old school. Remember when like you used to use like Google Maps back in the day, and it wasn't as reliable, so you could like print out the turn by turn directions. Something my dad would do with like a map or some shit. I'm gonna have to probably kind of map this out afterwards on like a Google Maps and see what this looks like, because I was hoping for just like an overview map that's already been laid out. Doesn't appear to be the case. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. Watch out for bikes and horses. Interesting. Be careful with headphones. That's pretty much a typical thing. They always recommend usually no headphones or one headphone. You want to be cognizant of wildlife, traffic, and all that other good stuff. Let's see if we can see the aid station. Okay, so first aid station, 5K in. That seems pretty reasonable. Anywhere between kind of 5 to 10. Usually, I see a lot of 7s and 8s typically, but this is only 50K, so it makes sense they're going to be sprinkled in a little bit more. So 5K, aid station 2. go through a bunch of other turns and twists. And then aid station 3, water and snacks at the town line. That's the 12K mark, so that's right almost at the halfway point. So you could think you're about 25% done the race once you've hit this marker, just shy of that. So this might be one where potentially if the snacks look okay, maybe if they got some pretzels or whatnot, you might want to take a few. I'm probably not going to bank on it unless I'm like really taking the heat. One other note on that, I'm going to pop out to the local running store and get some salt tablets just to have them in my pocket or my backpack rather, just in case. Because with this heat, I'm still a little bit skeptical. I haven't done too many 30 degree runs this year, especially at distance, so dehydration is always going to be a concern. Then what do we got? Aid station 4. They don't have a distance marked on this. I'm going to assume it's somewhere between 18 to 20K. Well, let's look at it this way. We're talking about 12K here. They're adding another 4 right here of single track. And then obviously you're going to loop around to be back, so it's probably going to split the difference there. So yeah, somewhere around 20K distance is probably where this thing's going to be at, which would make sense. Then you're 5K back to the start of the course. You know, reasonable, I guess. How else are you going to spread it around? They're running through some local municipalities through the race too, so sometimes your hands get tied in terms of where you can have these spots at too for logistic reasons and zoning and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so 8 stations themselves, water, electrolyte, dry to mix. Okay, so that's interesting. Usually I see the electrolyte already kind of pre-mixed in like cups or in jugs and whatnot. The nice thing about it being like dry to mix is you can get a sense if you're going to use their electrolyte. I definitely have used it before at events. I'm not going to roll the dice this time though. I'm really sure that this stuff works for me, but if you are in a jam, you know, it's better than nothing. What do you got? Cookies, pretzels, see? They love the pretzels and the fruit. Going to be some banana slices, more than likely. And yeah, let's see. Self-serve water only stations will be located in between each aid station. The maximum distance between aid stations on the 25K loop is 4.5 kilometers. Okay, so there you go. You're not going anything longer than 4.5K, which is not bad at all. Washrooms. Oh, there's a few porta potties, you know. A lot of times I find I don't really need to go to the washroom over the course of the race. Maybe early on if I drank too much coffee in the morning and I'm just feeling it, but usually once you're kind of in the mode, not as much as you would think. First aid, post-race, I think they're giving out some beer, which is great. Haven't had one for many months at this point, so maybe we will partake in that. Weather plan, well, you know, it is what it is. We're gonna go. Yeah, so still, I guess, questions in the air. No map overview, which would have been nice. And the other thing that we have zero sense of is how much elevation's on this thing. There is an 8-hour cutoff on it, which tells me that the elevation is not going to be that extreme, because if it was 50K with a lot of elevation, you know, over, you know, 1,500, 2K elevation, kilometers, or I don't know, what's that feet, like 9,000 feet or something. the overall time would be much slower with an 8 hour cutoff. That tells me they're pretty comfortable. A lot of people are going to finish this maybe as fast as kind of 4 and 5 range, and probably a lot of the pack in the kind of 6 to 7 range pretty comfortably. Then again, this is a new route for them this year, so 8 hours it's seems doable. So when we kind of map that back, kind of heading into the week, we got the 40K I ran pretty close to where this race takes place, 5.5 hours, and I wasn't racing. I was just going out there and taking it easy. If we throw 10 extra K on this thing, probably 6 hours, 45 minutes, 7 hours. If I was going to just kind of follow at this kind of basic pace, is probably where we're going to be at in terms of playing it really safe. But I think strategy heading in, and I'm going to think about this throughout the week. Maybe I'll cut a video right before race day and we'll see kind of how it looks. We're probably going to push a little bit, but I think a negative split is the way to do it, though. Get a feel out for the first 25K lap. You know exactly what you're in for and how the heat and weather's feeling heading into that backside. Obviously, we're starting early, so lap 2 is going to be in the afternoon in the heat. That's going to be a factor as well to consider. But yeah, super excited to get out there again. It's been a while, and let's start this racing season off with a bang. So this week's going to be a lot about getting the gear together. What does the actual training week look like? It is still a training week, guys. In terms of what we have queued up, we got 11 miles on Tuesday, 7 on Wednesday, 9 on Thursday. I'm probably going to try to do the 9 early, and then I can just start the recovery process, make sure things are going well. The week runs are going to be more on flat ground, and try to make them as easy peasy as possible. And yeah, looking forward to the race day. Let's get out there. If you're taking part in this thing, happy to see you out there, and we will kind of see where the chips lay. This is going to be great. Everyone have a good running week. And let's not forget the prize. We're coming for Squamish. Let's get it. Bye, guys.